Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to Lunchtime Live, Knicks Recap and Reaction Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen, joined by my co-host, Geoff Klafter, from the Happily Ever Klafter Daily Sports Blog, and, of course, resident panelist, Dope Soul Sports Talk. The Knicks pulled one out last night, 106-100, low-scoring affair. We were without Karl Anthony Towns. You know, they lost Wagner pretty early into the game. I thought the Knicks did some really nice things last night against this team. They're number one in, I'll save all of that. But I just thought the Knicks did some really nice things, like in terms of executing the game plan and taking away or limiting, what they did best. I'm crunching some numbers for the stats and storyline weekly preview show we're going to do tonight for whoever wants to join. And the Knicks defense is just not as bad as it looks, and we'll go over some of that as well. But first, I just want to, ask Geoff, just his, brief overview of last night's game before we get into it. Shout out to the chat, by the way, Replay Gang, silent listeners, appreciate you.
Well, what I would say, what I took away from this game, for those who were worried about the Knicks being able to deal with physicality and length and not being tough and all of those, that narrative which has been swirling around this team all season, I think the Knicks put to bed a lot of those questions. They said, we can play tough, we can be strong, we can beat teams with length. And we can do it without some of our best players, because Deuce missed a bunch of time in the game, and so did Towns. And so this team does have a toughness about it. It's not Charles Oakley tough. You know what I mean? But they do have it's a unique kind of toughness, but they do have a toughness about them, and they can answer the call. And this one is unlikely fashion, right? It was Mitchell Robinson and Ariel Hukporti who, and we'll get more into those guys later, but when you're dealing with a team that's as big and just runs so much size at you, you've got to be able to respond to that size. And I thought our backup bigs did an outstanding job of answering the call and just matching them blow for blow. And the Knicks dominated the glass. Well, not dominated, but they won the rebounding battle in this game, and that's key. They still gave up more offensive boards than Orlando had, but they won the rebounding battle by 4, and that's a good indication that we were right there with them from a physicality standpoint, right from Jump Street. And this game was a game that was a 6-point game at the end, but it wasn't really like the Knicks just messed around in the final minute. And that's why Tibbs always kept the starters in, by the way.
But that's why Mike Brown put him back in with like under 19 seconds left as well. I mean, kind of where I want to start is that the Knicks were just really good in key areas, like I alluded to in the introduction. Like, they didn't put them on the line. They had 24 free throw attempts. They only made 16, by the way. They're number one in the league in free throw attempts, 29.7. And the 29.7 was the numbers I crunched after the game. So coming into the game, they were probably shooting like 30 free throws a game. The Knicks kept them below their average. The Knicks limited their second chance points. They're number 4 in second chance points, but the Knicks are number 5 in limiting second chance points. So, they had 17 offensive rebounds, 16 points off of them. They're pretty good at limiting second chance points as well. Right? These are two really good defensive rebounding teams. The Knicks have 15 offensive rebounds, only got 12 points off of them. So like, they are kind of mirror images in some respects when you look at when you look at, some of the stats, neither team shot well. Knicks shot 42.9% from the field, just 31.4% from the 3-point line, 85% from the field, but they were worse. And the Knicks had something, to do with that. 38.3% from the field, 28.6%. Now, they're not a good three-point shooting team in either volume or efficiency, but like this is well below even their average, 28.6. And they didn't shoot well at the free throw line for the free throws they were able to get. Neither team turned the ball over a lot, and they don't. Like, they don't. 11 apiece. The Knicks got 11 points off of their turnovers. Orlando got 12, but both of these teams are top 5 in limiting points off turnovers. So like both teams kind of did, kind of understood what the other team, did well and did a pretty good job trying to take it away. And, maybe it would have been different if both Towns and Wagner, was here, but this was a very margin, like win on the margins type game. And I thought the Knicks was tremendous last night. And the last thing I will add before I turn it over to Geoff is my concern with this team is about their process when they play good teams or teams just as good as they are who take some things away. And we tend to not be patient enough and process enough to figure out, okay, this is what they're taking away, but what is now available? And I thought the Knicks were just superb last night in that respect. Like the ball movement, the player movement, all of that continued throughout the play with pretty good, Orlando defense. The Knicks just did not deviate from their plan. And to Geoff's point, a lot of that is probably that they matched their physicality. So they weren't being bumped off of their spots and agitated. Like they stood strong and their process was really, really good last night. Geoff, the floor is yours.
It's kind of weird. You watch that game and it just didn't have a flow in the fourth quarter. It was very erratic on both sides. Like there were just a bunch of sequences. Like, what is happening here? Like, the just lack of shot making and just kind of going back and forth and it's just. I don't know if sloppy is the right word for it, but it kind of felt like it was just a sloppy run in the mud, get in the muck kind of a game. And the Knicks needed one of those, and they needed to win one of those, And so kudos to them for finding a way to get the job done. And I think that it says a lot about this team that they continue to find ways to win when they are faced with a lot of adversity, the injuries and everything else. And I know we're going to get into some specific players in a minute. I don't know where you want to start on that conversation.
You can start there if you want to. You can start.
But I was really impressed with OG Anunoby last night or yesterday afternoon. Just thought he was terrific, both ends of the court, 3 steals. Just it felt like he had more than that. I looked at the box score. I was like, really, just 3? Like he just seemed like he was
28 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, he felt like he was all over the place. His 3-point shot was falling. He looked like he was comfortable again. Like the first game back was kind of like, growing pains, and now it's like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this. Like knocked off the rust, and he was phenomenal. I thought he was a real difference maker, and I think he had 7 rebounds, which again, Queen, we were talking about that for the beginning of the year. We wanted to see that up. Well, that's the number where we're good at, right? We don't need him to be a double-digit rebound. I don't think that's reasonable, but if he can be at 6 or 7 to go with the 3 steals and he's making his shots, all of a sudden you've got a borderline all-star level player. And same with, and Bridges has kind of been on that same cusp. And when you're talking about having 3, even without Towns, that means you still have about 3 guys who are playing at an all-star level. And that helps you out a lot. And I think you could even argue that Josh Hart has been at close to an all-star level of late. I'm not sure if Sunday's game was that for him, but I think he's been playing really well also, and that allows you to overcome some things. But Hart was terrific though, because I think Hart had a dozen rebounds, all of them on the defensive end. So that's what we needed last night against a Orlando team that tends to dominate the glass. So really good performance overall. But OG, I thought, was my star of the night.
Yeah, OG was phenomenal. 5 of 7 for 3, plus 20. And to your point, he just looked like himself, playing 1.5 players, swiping. If you're in his area, and even if you're not his guy, he's going to swipe and come up and come up
Better
with
not be dribbling high or it gone.
Right, exactly. Keep it tight, Yeah, I thought Anunoby was good. I'm gonna skip over and we'll get to them. Like, we'll get to Brunson, we'll get to Hart, we'll get to Bridges. I want to piggyback over what you said earlier about our bigs and Robinson and Hukporti, and just how strong they played, and how that helped with the physicality you were talking about. So Mitchell Robinson started. He played 25 minutes. I believe that was the most minutes he's played this season. He had 6 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. These past few games, Mitchell Robinson, I wouldn't say he's looking like his peak self, because we've seen Mitchell Robinson play on like another level, but he's rounding into shape. He's looking more like himself of late. I thought OG Anunoby did a really good job with his interior passing to Mitchell Robinson. And it may have been 1 or 2 other players. So he did a really good job with his interior passing. Mitchell Robinson took 4 shots last night. He made 3 of them. 8 offensive rebounds, 5 defensive rebounds, plus 8, for those who are into the plus minus. I just thought Mitchell Robinson was really, really good. And then when he goes out, Hukporti comes in 23 minutes. This is somebody who's had multiple strings of games where he just did not even take off his warm-ups. And he came in last night and 7 rebounds, 6 points, 4 from the line, 3 blocks, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a partridge in a picture. Like, he was just
Tis the season. Tis the season now, Steph.
He was just, Mike Brown in the press conference said he had 4 50-50 balls. He had a chase down block. He's a really good passer in the half court. If he can make it, he's patient too. Like, he doesn't force it. He looks, and if he feels like it's not open, like, he doesn't make the pass. I thought Hukporti and Robinson filled in admirably for Towns. And listen, when you're filling in, you're not trying to be who that player was. You're trying to be the best version of yourself. And I thought Robinson, and particularly Hukporti, were just phenomenal last night. I don't know if you have anything you want to, add, Geoff.
Well, my guy Delusional was smiling like the butcher's dog. I know he's a big Hukporti fan, and what a performance. But I was really impressed by him. Didn't he have an Achilles injury that ended his season last year, or
meniscus, something?
Well, anyway, one of those injuries that are difficult to come back from, and he's worked and worked and worked, and nobody talks about him behind the scenes. He's just, he's stayed patient, he's stayed ready, and he did all the little things right, and that's and that's the thing. He's never going to be the 28-point scorer that Towns is. He's not a good 3-point shooter, but you can win without getting that from the center position if he gives you other things. And it was fascinating to me that it was a timeshare. Like, it was they played almost the same amount of minutes. Really good job by him, and just impactful all the way around on his time on the floor. And what a blessing. What this team has we've all been saying that this is something this team needs. Well, if you don't have to go out and trade, if we have a guy who can fill in, and people aren't going to like it when I say this, but Precious Achua kind of did that for us a couple of seasons ago.
Yes, he did.
He wasn't great, but he did enough of the ancillary things. He got rebounds. He could never shoot around the rim, but he did enough where he was playable and was a stopgap and bridge the gap kind of a player. And if we can have that from Hukporti, and we kind of thought that Ariel would get his time to shine this season, because we thought, but we didn't think it would be with Mitch, right? We thought it would be in place of Mitch. And so really good performance, really encouraging performance from him. But I kind of think that Orlando is an ideal matchup for him. In other words, he just gets to be his big self and do the things that he does. I'm kind of curious if he's able to replicate that against, teams that like to play smaller, or and those sorts of things. And that's to be seen. Like, I don't want to take away from what he did, but definitely a great sign to have him play well, and to see him back 100% healthy and contributing is really awesome. And I'm glad we're able to give him his flowers this afternoon.
Yeah, and the Knicks have really embodied next man up. I mean, it's in their DNA, right? That this is, pretty much the same team from last year with a couple of, additions, and they really embody that. I mean, OG missed, 45 games already, and then Knicks just did a really good job in his absence. I'm not saying we don't need him. We definitely need him to win it all, but the Knicks were good in his absence. Jalen Brunson missed 2 games. Towns missed last game. Guys are just ready. Guys are just ready, and they save their best performances for when it's needed. Kolick is in the in the rotation now with Shaman out. We might even see more Kolick and Clarkson minutes if McBride can't go. He left what I think it was a left ankle injury. X-rays were negative, but he's getting an MRI, today. He may miss some time. We're really stretching the next, player up. But that might be Kolick and Clarkson. And right now, there's the bench, and then there's depth. And sometimes it's not one and the same, right? Because, depth can be those guys that are outside of the rotation who have to step in. And we've been getting positive minutes, from our guys. I just want to go to the bench really quick, because we're talking about these situational guys. Only 20 bench points, but of course, Deuce only played 21 minutes, but he didn't shoot well when he was there, right? 1 of 7, 0 for 5 from 3. Yabu in 11 minutes, 8 points, 2 of 3 from 3. Yabu offensively seems to be coming around. His
improve a little bit, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And his defense has been solid to me.
Better than I expected, for sure.
Yeah, and it's mostly about his team defense, just being, his rotations and being where he's supposed to be. And he seems to anticipate, because he gets there, either he's super fast, which is possible. You could be big bodied and super fast, or his anticipation. Like, he just seems to be moving like right on the pass. He gets there very quickly. He had a block or 2 one game where he just came over really quick and blocked it from behind. So I've been pleasantly surprised about. Now, listen, he's not somebody that's going to guard you in space. You know what I mean? But in terms of team defense, rotations, anticipating, he's been more than solid in my, in my
Team
opinion.
defense is the important thing. I'd much rather a good team defender than a good individual defender, because a good individual defender you can ISO or take out of the play. A good team defender, doesn't matter where on the floor they are, they can help your defense. So I've been really surprised. That was one of my critiques of Yabusele. I was not sold on him as a defensive player when he came. But he's been good, and don't look now, but we're starting to get some good minutes from him. I don't think we're quite at the Ajay, let's start the guy. But he's contributing, and that's what's important. He's starting to look like the player that we paid for, and that's going to be necessary, because we're getting thinner and thinner by the day. So we need all hands on deck. and he certainly has 2 of them. So let's go.
Yeah. Where do you want to go next? Yeah. Where do you want to go next?
Well, I think it's funny that Jalen Brunson has a 30-point game and he's a footnote. He probably should have been the lead, but an interesting Brunson game, 30 points, 9 assists. He actually had 1 assist taken away. Otherwise he would have had the 30-point, 10 assist game, but didn't shoot the ball great. I mean, 10 of 23, but he was cooking from inside the arc. I think almost all of his misses, or at least half of his misses, were on threes. I think he was 1 of 7 from 3-point range, and his 3-point shooting is down on the season. I think he's at 36.9%, which is about 2% less than his career numbers. So it's just 20 games. I'm just chalking that up to statistical variance. I do think that that'll rise as the season goes along, just and progress to the norm. But I thought he was going to have a 40-point, 25 assist game the way that he was in the first half. I think he had 16 and 5 at one point. And I was like, he was making everything, but he can be, when he's in his bag and he's getting it done from inside like that, he's tough. And it just goes to show you can talk about the length bothering him and all that others. That's nonsense. Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson. The guy's a star. He's going to get his, and kudos to him. He wasn't, again, his 3-point shooting was what killed his efficiency, but I think he got to the line a bunch as well. Maybe, was it 9 times? I'll tell
you right now, 12.
12. Okay.
9 of 12.
He made 9. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So, and that's using that physicality against Orlando. So great job by him. Just a ho-hum Brunson game, right? He's climbing up to, I think he's 4th all time for the franchise for 30-point games already. He hasn't even. This is what, his 4th season here. That's crazy. I mean, we're spoiled for choice, guys. This guy is incredible, and he's so much fun to have on our team, and he makes it look so easy, and it's easy to take for granted what he does, but don't take for granted what he does, because it's a special player, and we suffered through Chris Duhon for this. Just remember.
Yeah. I'm really encouraged by this team, and it's not just, last night's ragtag win, if you want to call it that. It's just their resiliency, right? New system, new coach, new players. The rotations are, all over place, settling down as of late, but can't really settle down because then there's injuries. You're missing OG, you're missing Cat, you're missing Brunson, and this team just continues to chug along and become this no excuse team that Mike Brown is talking about. They're really good offensively, and as we always say, there's still some more meat on the bone, offensively. And the Knicks are just not as bad of a defensive team as they appear to be in some games.
They're not elite by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not traffic cones either. So they're kind of, I don't know what you call in between a traffic cone and elite is. There's a lot of space there, but if it's a spectrum, I think we're kind of closer to elite than we are to traffic cone, but not like a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? When you think about it, there are multiple aspects of defense, right? And when I was comparing the Knicks defense to the Orlando defense in these different areas, they weren't that far apart. Now, obviously, Orlando was 5th in defensive rating. I'm just reading off this list I have here. The Knicks are now 13th. They're 8th in opponent points per game. The Knicks are 4th in opponent points per game. Opponent field goal percentage, the Knicks are 6th. Opponent points in the paint, 4th. Opponent fast break points, 7. Opponent second chance points, 5. Opponent points off turnovers, 4. Opponent 3-point percentage, they got it down to 20. They're just not good in, defending the 3-point line. Part of that is they're prioritizing the paint. Some will also say it's the lack of length, and so you don't have the length to get out there. I say, but if you're smaller, you're quicker. Whatever. They're not good 3-point percentage, and obviously, I don't have their pick and roll. Like there's even more aspects of defense I don't have here. But my point is, when you look at the different parts of defense, the Knicks are not bad at all. And other than defensive rating, they were close to or even better than Orlando, who's 16th in opponent field goal percentage, 17th in opponent 3-point percentage, 19th in opponent points in the paint, 18th in opponent fast break point. Like the Knicks are much better. The Knicks are basically top 10 in every category except opponent 3-point percentage. Now, it could be that Orlando has played tougher teams to start the season and the Knicks haven't, and that's why the Knicks, in these categories are looking better. But my point is, I'm hopeful for the Knicks because I don't think with this offense, and the Knicks are number 4 in the entire league in net rating, if I'm not mistaken. So they don't have to be a juggernaut defensive team, and Mike Brown has versatility of lineups because of who we have to put in defensive lineups. I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. I'm just feeling a bit more encouraged about this team on the defensive end. I know, like you look at Jalen, you look at Cat, and you be like, oh, we just no way. There's just no, because you see a play or 2 or 3 or 5, particularly pick and roll, which teams are going to go to, and you're like.
Of course, last night one of those quote unquote liabilities wasn't there, right? So maybe that's part of why it looked better, right? You're replacing an offense first player with 2 guys who are more. I mean, are defensive oriented. Let's be honest. I mean, that's why you're playing Hukporti and Robinson, and they, to their credit, they played well, but maybe and maybe against a team like Orlando. And I don't want to be without Towns, but I'm saying maybe against a team like Orlando, it's better to have someone who's ready to rumble in there and get physical and match their physicality, which is not something that Towns really likes to do. Like I love Cat, but he doesn't like the physicality. He doesn't. It tends to bother him, and sometimes it gets in his head even. But get back soon, Karl. I'm not in any way disparaging him or anything like that. I'm just saying from a stylistic standpoint, having the 2 bigger defensive players may have worked out. Let's just put it that way. It may have worked out in our advantage, even though we would obviously prefer to have all of our guys healthy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I will say, Jeff, like the stats I read off wasn't just about last night. That was the Knicks on the season, and that's what makes me a bit encouraged. Let's see if they're able to,
I think they can be an average defense. I've kind of thought that all season. I'm not sure we'll get up to top 10, but when you read off a bunch of those statistics, it kind of feels like maybe they can. Because if you can maintain all those other things and just be a little bit better on your defending the 3-point line, be a little bit sharper and crisper in your rotations, and those are things that should improve as the season goes along, right? Because you should be more comfortable with your defensive assignments and those sorts of things. We saw under Thibodeau the team consistently get better defensively as the season goes on. Well, Mike Brown, I think, is similar in that aspect. So maybe we creep up toward that. And if this team is anywhere close to top 10 defensively, they're going to win 50 games easily because the rest is there.
Yeah. What I will say, what I don't have here is the Knicks pick and roll defense. And that's going to be huge in the playoffs. That's going to be huge in the playoffs. Where, Brunson will be picked at, and what are the schemes going to be? So that part I don't have, but that's huge, particularly in playoff basketball pick and roll defense. So the Knicks will need to shore that up. I don't have that. I could tell you right now without even looking, it's not good. not good. At least I would guess that. That it's not good. Let me see. You mentioned Hart, 17 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. Bridges, 34 minutes, 12.7 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 6 of 7 from the field. Didn't hit any of his 4 3-pointers. This guy's just another day, at the office for him. Anybody else we didn't talk about?
I don't know, but I love Bridges, man. I'm just telling you, this was kind of what, as Jerrell said on Thursday, I'm going to quote my guy. He's like, this is the X factor that we've been waiting for. This is the player that we thought we were getting when we sent 8,000 draft picks to Brooklyn, and he's finally arrived. I don't know if it was just getting used to it. I don't know if he hated Tibbs and refused to play. He's been incredible, and what I love about Bridges is that, and it sometimes can drive us crazy, but the fact that he doesn't have to get his shots to be effective, and sometimes he's not aggressive enough, and it's like, come on, McCall, you could do. But I think that personality with this team is what we need, right? Because we have so many guys, like OG was feeling it and cooking last night, and so he's going to get what the defense gives them within the framework of the offense, and just do his thing, and his defense, especially when he doesn't have to guard the point of attack. We've seen that's not his specialty, but when he just gets to kind of roam and play free safety, I think it's really good. I don't know. I think it was Mensa on X said that he last year he was like an all-star free safety that we were playing at cornerback, to use a football analogy. You know what I mean? And there's different. It's different being a safety than a corner, and so you're not utilizing to the best of his ability, and that doesn't mean that he wasn't an okay corner, but that's not how he's going to star and how he's going to shine. And he seems to be put much more in a position where he can shine defensively when he's not at the point of attack. And we've seen that this year, and I think the defensive numbers kind of reflect that. Now, if Deuce is missing time, I don't really know, and Shamet is out, who becomes our attack dog, so to speak, because that's not Kolek and it's not Clarkson. They both help facilitate and make the offense better, but I don't know where that's going to come from in the interim, and maybe Deuce doesn't miss time. I don't know. I just tend to assume that, the worst with this. Well, I do assume the worst, let's be honest. PTKD, post-traumatic Knicks disorder. But it will be interesting to see how that affects us defensively moving forward if we don't have anybody really to fill that point of attack defense role for the next, I don't know.
I mean, listen, when it comes to point of attack, I think what many of us don't take into account is that Brunson can't guard the point of attack. And so if Brunson can't guard the point of attack, who's the next best player in that starting lineup? It's not Hart. It's not OG. It's Bridges. Bridges is going to be the point of attack defender. There's just no way around it. Now, when you bring in Deuce, now he can move on. I think Mike Brown has done some things schematically as well. They switch, so sometimes there's less screen navigation, but Deuce is playing, if not the same amount of minutes as last year, because whenever Deuce was in the game, he had the point of attack as well. So I'm not sure I don't know if what's different is just he's less on the point of attack. I think there's some schematic things going on too. The minutes may be the same because Brunson, when those two start, it's Mikal Bridges, right? So I think there's been some schematic.
Well, when they start with Deuce, like this, which we've seen, right? Then that's been. I think that's the schematic.
But we don't do that though. But what I'm trying to say is we don't start Deuce. Right, Deuce will start if there's injuries, but he's not a starter. He comes off the bench, and when he comes off the bench, then Mikal moves. That was different than last year as well, right? So I don't know how much more minutes Deuce is playing this year. So I do think there's some schematic changes as well. And then also, it's possible that we had Shamet, that when Shamet is in, that takes minutes away. Clarkson, it may not be the best, but the bench is deeper. That takes, that takes minutes, away as well. But, the big part of it is the fact that Brunson cannot play the point of attack. That's the big
and
piece.
you have to hide him on a 3, basically, and that's part of the shooting, 3-point shooting situation too, right? Because you're putting Brunson on a guy who's 6'7", and he could just shoot over the top, right? Without, he's given up a lot of size there. So that I think, and Deuce kind of has the same problem when he's out there, right? He's not very big either. So even if you are closing out, if you're not closing out with length, in a certain, I don't know how many of the 3-pointers are open versus wide open versus incredibly open versus nobody within a mile. Like, I don't know what, I don't know what.
We can look it up, like, because if we find out that these shots are contested and the Knicks are still 20, then you figure, oh, well, this should even out because they are contesting shots and not really giving up a lot of, open shot. It should even up over time. If we find that these guys are just, like wide open, very wide open, then it's not going to get better. It's just not going to
unless our rotations get sharper.
Right. Yeah. Well, what we didn't mention is, this game actually didn't have anything to do with that. The Knicks, earned their place in the NBA Cup. So Tuesday they'll play Toronto, who have
we
lost.
may be seeing this Orlando team again on Thursday, by the way. Like if we and Orlando do the same thing on Tuesday, we're playing each other again on Thursday. So
I think it's Saturday.
Or Saturday, whenever it is. I'm sorry, it's Saturday. So, but anyways, if we do the same thing, we're playing Orlando. If we do opposite, then we play Miami. Is my understanding. So,
the winner of the Toronto Knicks game will play the winner of the Miami Orlando game.
Right.
Yeah. So, let's see. We've played all 3 of them. We're familiar with all 3 teams. We've played them.
Yeah, we played Miami 17 times in the first 12 games. It's
and
crazy.
Orlando about 18 times. And
I think those are the only 2 teams in the league. Like, I just feel like the only teams we play are Miami and Orlando. We get Charlotte every once in a while, but.
Right. And RJ Barrett is out day to day, but like, what did you say, Geoff? Madison Square Garden. He might be back Tuesday.
But aren't we playing in Toronto?
In Toronto.
We're playing in Toronto.
In Toronto. Oh, that's true. That's true. In Toronto. That's right.
So
that's
right. But I think Barrett's a big loss for them because
it carries, Jeff. It carries. Everybody
carries. Yeah, it does. You're right. It does.
Or at home. It carries. You get the little ointment, a little liniment that
it's
you
a
carry.
transitive property. You're absolutely right about that. Absolutely. But Barrett's been a big loss for them. They've really struggled without him in the lineup. So apparently he adds. I don't watch a lot of Raptors games. I'm not going to sit here and say that I do, but apparently he adds a big piece to that puzzle. Because they've struggled mightily with him out of the lineup the last 4 or 5 games, and they were lights out before he got hurt. I mean, they'd won like 9 in a row or something like that, second best team in the East. So don't take anything for granted. Just because they played bad against Boston doesn't mean they won't whip up on us. We haven't proven that we're a good road team yet. We haven't had a good road win really all season. So we've struggled there. So now is the time to kind of figure that out, right? We're 3-6 on the road, 13-1 at home. So we've got to get better there, right? You got to be able. Good teams can win on the road too,
Right.
But that's one thing that we didn't mention is best start at home since 92-93. That's really what I want to see. I've been wanting us to be a dominant home team forever, and it's really good to see that for whatever reason Mike Brown just has these guys locked in when they play at the Garden. I was so sick of it being the place where, as Madison Square Garden, the place where everybody goes to get well, and the stars just come in and have their big nights, and no, squash all that. I want this to be a place where you don't want to come to the Garden because we rip out your soul and we walk away embarrassed. Like that's what I want to see from this team. And we've been, phenomenal at home so far this year, and, call it the competition or whatever. But, I think that's a really good sign, and that's part of it, right? What good is it obtaining home court advantage in the playoffs if you don't win the majority of your home games? The whole point is to take advantage of those opportunities, and so far, really done a great job of that. So I'm kind of hoping that this is kind of a special, magical year at MSG where we don't lose very many games in our own building.
Yeah, I hope so too. But the flip side is the Knicks are going to have to win on the road. They got it. They have to be better.
Oh, absolutely.
They have to be better on the road, particularly in the playoffs. I mean, the chances that you're going to win every home game, it's kind of slim to none. So, yeah. What did you say? 3-6?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have an opportunity against Toronto on Tuesday for an opportunity to go to Vegas. And, play in the NBA Cup. Not a big deal for me, but it seems to be a big deal for the players. I forget about it. I was like, oh, yeah. Tuesday is a quarterfinal. It's a quarterfinals game for the NBA Cup. But
I mean, if they win, Kolek doubles his salary. So it is a big deal for some of these players. Like I'm exaggerating, of course, but it's a lot of money for the guys who are the bench players who don't make a ton of salary in the NBA. This is a really big opportunity for them to make some Christmas cash. I mean,
I don't even know if it's Kolek, Jeff. Kolek got an extra, he signed one of the highest, contracts for somebody, and for a second round pick.
He said he's already in Vegas waiting. He's just
right. But what about these other guys, on the bench? Like this will be
Jameson and those guys for sure. And
the coaches too, the assistant coaches. The video, right? Don't the video people as well?
I don't know, but anyway, so yeah. Look. I don't care about the NBA Cup, but seeing as they're going through the trouble of having it, why not win it? And hung a banner for anything else in this town in 50 some odd years.
The Knicks better not hang a banner for the NBA Cup.
Oh, they will.
Oh,
if they win, there's a banner going. The Lakers have one.
I know, but when the Lakers did, I thought that was so corny.
I do too.
But anyway, let's see. Let's get to the chat. We appreciate you. Jason Benjamin, always rocking with us. Appreciate you. This team is resilient and mentally tough. Great win. Yeah. What's up with David Smith? David Towns. I know Towns didn't play last night, but come on.
He might have had to work though.
He might. All right. I'm gonna give him the second time.
My guy David Smith. Come on now.
I'm gonna give him a benefit of the doubt though. DJ Space Ghost, I appreciate you always rocking with us. Darlene Bryan, appreciate you as well. The fam. I am Jerrell. Appreciate you. Wiz, I am so pleased with the Knicks right now. I am not going to try to take Jeff's spot today. Salute.
All I know is every time I go out to my car, I'm worried that Wiz is going to be there with the
got to keep your head on the
tire iron ready to get me for saying something about Deuce. And I know he lives in California, but you never know.
The game ended with a debacle before we won the game. Definitely fantastic all around game without Cat. I still see both teams getting better as the season progresses, but the Knicks have a higher ceiling. I agree with that. Good afternoon, APAC. Hope I got that right. 1586. Appreciate you. Nick Loyalty. Huck was given last night. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was impressive in in his minutes. That's what you want. Positive minutes when you have to step in, and we got that. OG's pass to Mitch was great. JB and Cat can hit 28 to 32 points. OG and Macau 20. Hart and Do 16. That's 112 if they just play their game. So any points from Clarkson, Yabu, etc. Yeah, I wish it played out like that every game. Wiz, that would be great. I hope Deuce will be okay. So do I. Queen in the building. My guy Gangsta G off because he'll knock your street off in the building. Okay. All right.
Only if I have to.
Who we talking about? Okay. Hopefully somebody answered that for him or her. I'm having some coffee while I listen to you guys. You guys are the greatest. Peace and love. Peace and love to you as well. Shout
Thank
out.
you.
What's up, my guy? Been a minute. Appreciate you, hopping on. I miss you guys. I miss the space that you guys took up when you guys did the morning show. But appreciate you, Jigga. Okay. The Knicks are good. Just they need to make sure they really get this chance while Tatum and Halliburton are out for a long time. I mean, I think if the Knicks handle their business, they'll be right in there, regardless. In game, Knicks medical staff voted best in the NBA last season. I trust them 100%. He also thinks the Magic are dirty. Oh, this is Ajay's cousin. Not a coincidence that Knicks players get hurt playing them, Shaman and Deuce. Shout out to you. In game, you're not the only one who who thinks that. Steph, shout out to the real AD, Jeff, Giannis. Jake Fisher reported, was it yesterday, that the Knicks are still Giannis's first choice. I don't know. He's an NBA insider. I don't know where he got that information. Well, he's an insider. So, Charles Turner III, we need to revamp our backbench. Like, you mean where Hukporti, Diawara, and Kolick play? Because that's really the back of the bench, right? When we're fully healthy, those guys either don't play much or don't play at all. So are you saying you would like an upgrade there, or are you talking about the back of the bench when we're healthy, which would be Yabu, Clarkson, right? Yeah. Let me know. All right. Wiz, if this is top 20 defensively, we'll win 50 games easily. If we get top 10, then we approach 61. I got to say, I'm not even worried about the 50, 60 wins. I'm worried about our seeding. Can we get home court advantage for as many series as we can? And can we get to the finals? That's, if you're talking about a top 10 defense with this offense, I'm thinking that we can get to the finals. In game, OG also could have been hurt if you watched the replay with Bane and him. Thankfully, nothing happened. Okay. All right. Ally Wise. Salute. What's up? Appreciate you.
Wise.
Yeah, Ally Wise. I appreciate you. Okay. Nah, that's our guy. Nick Nation said David Smith has become the butt of all jokes in each. Nah, that's our guy. I actually like David,
David provides a lot for the show. He's always rocking with us. I appreciate
always
him.
rocking.
And you know what? You can be the super duper extra president of the Karl Anthony Towns fan club, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And he goes to bat for his guy, and I respect that. That's all good. Like, and you know what? He brings a lot of points to the show that people don't like to hear, maybe because he's willing to criticize Jalen Brunson, and in some ways he's correct. So about those things. So I think his opinions are definitely legitimate, and he, you know, he just loves him some cat in a special way. I don't know if that's his brother or if, you know, if there's some kind of family ties going on there, because he says that Towns is better than Ewing, and I can't go there with him, because Ewing was a two-way player and Towns is 1.5 at best.
No.
He's a better offensive player, maybe, you know, better shooter for sure, but you know,
yeah. I mean, he could be a little over it. Like, it's one thing to be a fan; it's another thing to stretch the truth. I think sometimes he stretches the truth a little bit, but he's still our guy. He's
our
entitled
guy for sure.
He's entitled to his opinion. Who is that? Mike Edmonds. Please don't get Giannis. Let's beat him and everybody else until we get to OKC in the finals. You know, I've softened on the Giannis thing. I still question his fit with Brunson. I see a lot of it's your turn, it's my turn. I don't really see them working well on pick and rolls. Both of those guys like to have the ball in their hands. I do think Brunson can play off of Giannis more so than I believe Giannis can or may be willing to play off of Brunson. But at the end of the day, as you know, I think it was, I want to say it was Ajay, could have been all three of you said, if you can get one of the best players to ever play the game, you bring him in and you figure it out. You can't, you know, you can't argue with that we would definitely need to, you know, we'll be a different team.
I don't think it's happening anyways. I'm not as convinced at all. Like, to me, this is Knicks for clicks, you know,
I don't think
stirring
so.
the pot kind of stuff. I don't think this is a reality. I really don't.
It may not happen, but I don't think it's Knicks for clicks, because the Knicks did have discussions with, like, when you think about for clicks, it's just like there's zero chance, and this is just hyperbole, and you're just putting it out there. The Knicks spoke to Milwaukee. At least those are the reports over the summer. Jake Fisher, an NBA insider, just said within the last 24 hours that if he were to request a trade, the Knicks are still his number one choice. Now, whether or not the Knicks have it, whether or not if he pushes Milwaukee and say, this is where, you know, I want to go, Milwaukee could say, I don't care if that's where you want to go. We're going to get the best. Like, that can happen for sure, but I don't think it's Knicks for clicks. I don't think it's just, you know, people trying to get clicks. I do think there's something to it.
All I know is it's definitely engagement farming at the very least. I mean, it's when you talk about Giannis, a player of Giannis's stature and MVP to New York, that's definitely going to well, look, we're still talking about it, and
but Geoff, it's so you saying I think it's a legitimate story. I don't like if you.
So let me clarify what I mean. Okay, so in my opinion, in order for this to happen, certain number of things have to be true. One, Giannis has to say, I want to be traded. I only want to go to New York, because there are other teams that have better packages to offer. And you better believe if Antetokounmpo is available, that other teams are going to offer, right? So that's the first thing that you have to believe. The second thing you have to believe is that the Knicks have enough assets on the table to pull that trade off, and that means one of two things: either you're talking about a 3-team deal where Towns is going someplace else, so they can either get draft capital or a player that they like better. I don't think Milwaukee wants to be in the Towns business. That's possible, but I don't think it's likely. And then the other possibility is a trade without Towns. And what does that look like? Is OG Anunoby really a headline player for without a bunch of picks to acquire a guy like Giannis? I just don't think that that's the case either. And so I think I think that I don't. To me, it just doesn't seem like it seems like too many things have to fall in place for all of that to align and to happen. And it just doesn't seem easy.
Giannis saying he only wants to go to the Knicks, and if I go anywhere else, I'm not re-signing.
That
I mean,
doesn't mean that somebody else won't take a chance. Look what the Raptors did. They won a championship with Kawhi Leonard.
Absolutely, somebody else may take a chance, but it may decrease the pool. I mean, it has happened. It has happened before where teams didn't get the best package because a player said, "This is where I want to go." So I agree with you that a lot would have to fall into place. But if this is where he wants to go, that gives the Knicks some leverage. But we'll see. I'm not pounding the glass for it. I said what I felt about it on the show.
I'm
last
just
week.
skeptical about it. That's all.
That's fine.
I tend to, if it happens, it happens. Like I think that. And by the way, David is here, JJ. So yeah, I said something about trading Cat, and he hopped on right quick. but he is here. So leave my guy David Smith alone. He's in the building. He came late, but better late than never. He's here. So y'all just chill and leave my guy alone, okay?
Otherwise, Mitch and Hux held it down yesterday, though. Yeah, absolutely. Dwayne Dennis, thank you for giving David Smith grace. He just likes his guy. Yeah, for sure. A lot. SKOE 2191. I heard Giannis to Miami was a possibility. If they can get him giving up Tyler Hero and spare part. Listen, if you can get Giannis for Tyler Hero and spare parts, we can get him for OG and whoever. I think it's going to take more than Tyler Hero and spare parts. Good for them. If I'm Milwaukee, the Knicks can offer a better deal. Yes, exactly. If Tyler Hero is headlining the deal. Cat and Deuce and bye-bye. I don't think that's enough. I'm not even in here and getting hate. Now I know what hate Towns gets when he Welcome, David Smith. Appreciate
you. Hang in there, David Smith. Don't let him rattle you, my guy.
Oh boy. Oh yes. Don't let Giannis go to Pistons. Like this move, if he doesn't come to the Knicks, if he goes to anywhere else in the East, could change the landscape.
I definitely don't think he'll go somewhere else in the East. I think if he goes, it'll be the Lakers, the Spurs, or the Thunder.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be the Thunder because they're rolling along without him. I don't know why. Like
they're rolling along without him, but the playoffs are something totally different. And look at them last year; they won by the skin of their teeth.
Facts.
Yeah,
but I think those are the three biggest competitors, if you will, in the Giannis sweepstakes, if there is one.
It's not Knicks for clicks. It's legitimate. Oh wait, it's legitimate. David Smith trading Towns is a huge mistake. Towns was a playoff riser. I mean, when I look at this team, we only got a few. We only got a few players on this team where I'm pretty confident in because I saw them in the playoffs. I've seen Brunson in the playoffs. I'm pretty confident. I saw Cat last year in the playoffs. He was really good. He was really good for us. Hart has been good for us in the playoffs, though he didn't play that well against, who was that? Indiana. Bridges had his moments. Robinson has historically been a playoff riser, so I'm confident about Mitchell Robinson in the playoffs. After that, we'll see. But Towns was good. Oh, wait, how did that come up?
Can we ban this guy, please?
Yes, you can.
Let me do it.
Yeah. I don't even know how I must have clicked something by mistake.
I was trying to ban him, and I think I'd accidentally start him instead.
Oh, okay.
Crazy on me.
So David says Giannis has bad knees, hurt more often lately, can't shoot the three, can't space the floor. 3 first-round exits in his row. His team has a 10-15 record currently. Okay, but how many games has he missed this season?
4.
Right? But I do hear you, but I do think the talent around him, even if we have to give up a cat, let's say we had to give up Cat and OG. It's a lot. That is a lot. I still think the talent around him would be better than what's around him, what has been around him in Milwaukee the past few years. Would you agree, Geoff, or no?
Yeah, look, I love Towns, and I think the ideal thing for the Knicks is to add Towns add Giannis to Towns and Brunson, because to me that's a formula that makes a lot of sense for winning, because Towns complements the things that Giannis does very well. You can play him outside as a stretch 5, and knock down the shot. He provides the shooting and the spacing that you need when you have a player like Towns. And so I think that if you're gonna make that deal, that it would ideally, I think it would be having them both. But again, having a defense that's anchored with Bridges and Giannis and Anunoby is pretty tantalizing too. But look, Giannis is a top 5 player in the league. If you have a chance to get him, you get him. Towns is great, but Towns is not that. So I mean, you have to if the opportunity presents itself, I don't see how you can not do it. That's just from a practical standpoint. And I'm always a guy who roots for the name on the front of the jersey and not the one on the back. Like, we've got to make this team the best possible unit we can to win a championship. Does Giannis guarantee a championship? No. But does he increase our odds significantly? I believe that he does. And so if that opportunity presents itself, it's hard to not take a bite out of that apple, in my opinion.
I don't know if he does. I don't know if he does. And I think that's been my hesitation. Like, I don't know if I believe in that. So this is basically fit versus talent. I don't think just having the best players mean you're going to win a championship, or that you have a better chance of winning the championship. I think how players complement each other makes a difference. And particularly in the playoffs, how teams can scheme against you. It becomes really big, in the playoffs. So, but would I be willing to take a chance on it? Yeah, because I think Brunson can play both ways. And I think if it came down to Giannis handling the ball most of the time, because that's when he's at his best, I still think Brunson would still be good. Would he be his optimum self? I don't think so, but I think he would still be good. And if you have shooters around those two guys, but I don't know if I could say because he's better and you're taking away Towns, you're taking away OG, the ceiling is just overwhelmingly higher. I don't know, Geoff. I would have to think. It makes sense though, but I would have to think about that myself. Bucks will go with the best deal. Look at the Melo situation. Listen. We would have. I don't think the Knicks did a really good job with the Melo situation, surrounding him with players, and they were in a more favorable salary cap situation than the Knicks are now. You could bet your bottom dollar if Giannis is here, this front office is so astute, and they're also have basketball minds as well. And I'm sure Mike Brown will be a part of the conversation. Is how do we fill out this roster to take maximum advantage of these two players?
And one other thing, though, Queen, that I think that is important to mention is that Giannis has won a championship before. So he knows what it takes. He's been on the journey and he's completed it. And I think that's important. Nobody else that's in our core group has. And so that to me, that experience is valuable, right? In other words, if you have a guy, and not just a guy, not just a guy who's PJ Tucker, who's, holding the pom-poms on the bench as your 15th guy, but a guy who's been through the wars and has won, that and knows how to get to the top of the mountain. Maybe that's the guy you need to drag you those final 6 games, right? That's what we're talking about here, is the final 6 games, because that's how close we were last year. So David Smith is right. OG did, but he was not a primary player on that Raptors squad. I don't even know if he played in the playoffs. I think he was hurt, but OG was on that roster.
But what I will say is, down the stretch, the ball will be in Brunson's hand. I don't think Giannis is not somebody who could create. Giannis is not somebody where, when the defense is set, you put the ball in his hand at the top of the key on the wing and say, get us a bucket. I don't know if he's that guy, but Brunson is. And if you remember, when Middleton was there, he was usually that guy down the stretch because of his ability to create. But you got to pay attention to him. You
would want the ball in Brunson's hands because Giannis isn't a great foul shooter, right? And so the tendency down the stretch is you want to foul the big fella if he gets the ball, because he only makes like 66% of his foul shots, maybe a little bit higher than that. I don't want to discount his stats. I haven't looked at him that.
It might be a little bit. He's shooting better from the 3 this year too, over 40% now.
Yeah.
I don't expect that over the course of the season to stay over 40, but he's been better. David Smith, that's okay. Knicks are title contenders with him, but Jeff said this to me the other day. There's a difference between Jeff or Ajay, being a contender and having the best chance to win it all. 2 separate things. And AD says this team is not good enough to beat the West teams, right? So there's a few contenders, but of those few contenders, are the Knicks for both the East and the West Coast, are the Knicks in the best position to win it all? I don't think so.
And real AD, Anthony made the best argument right there, is that I kind of agree with him. I'm not sure that we're good enough to beat the teams out west, and I'm not sure if to me Giannis puts us in that plateau if it were possible, and I don't think it is, but if it were to happen, I think that takes us up another level, and it does make us more competitive with the West. I could absolutely see this Knicks team getting through the East and then getting drummed in the finals by a OKC or Houston or the Lakers. I maybe not the Lakers, but OKC for sure. I could see that happening. I don't know. It's too early to really speculate on that. Let's get to the playoffs and then out of the first round of the playoffs and all of those things first. But
let me ask you, Jeff. Cat, Giannis, Brunson, or Giannis, Bridges, Brunson?
Well, I would probably say Cat, Giannis, Brunson, but Bridges isn't part of the equation, right? Because Bridges can't be traded this year. So Bridges is going to be
just a thought experiment.
Just a thought experiment. Golly. I don't know. It's interesting because I think that you really want to have a shooter who's a big. It doesn't necessarily have to be Cat, but Bridges' defense.
We might get Turner. What if we get Turner or Portis in the deal? Like does it?
Then you don't. Then it would be Bridges, right? Then because his defense and the other things that he provides as a third or fourth option, would be would be ideal, I think. But if you have Cat and Giannis, you're going to get a ton of rebounds. I mean, you're going to own the glass. You're going to have, again, those other 2 players you have to figure are going to be shooters around him. And so, unless I don't know what that means for Josh Hart's future with the team, though. I think Hart is a clunky fit with Giannis, so I'm not really sure. Like, unless if he keeps shooting the way he's been shooting so far this year.
But he would come off the bench anyway. Like, he wouldn't be Yeah, like we have clunky players now together. And Mike Brown doesn't mind the clunk. He just throws them out there. But I agree. If Hart is here, and he may go, but if he is, he would be coming off the bench for sure. All right. Yeah, I really think shout out to Docosaurus. It's been a minute. Docosaurus
That's
Rex.
my guy.
Appreciate you. Yeah. It's been a minute. Y'all really think the Bucks want to have Miles Turner and Cat on the same team? No, I don't think so. I think it'll probably be a 3-team trade. Like Geoff said, it'll be a bit more complicated, right?
Phoenix would be the team that I would
matters.
think that would be a natural fit for Towns. And Phoenix has a bunch of draft capital now. They got a bunch of it back with what they did, so they could send if they wanted to. That would be a natural fit if you're talking about sending Towns to a third location. That would certainly be one. And that would be probably a bigger trade that we wouldn't be just Towns or Anunoby. It might be both of them, and the Knicks get 2 or 3 players who aren't quite as good other than Giannis to kind of fill in the rotation in that deal. But that's a possibility if it's a possibility, if you know what I mean.
Any legs to the rumor of Bridges was listen, I'm not trading. They make around the same money. I'm not trading Bridges for any unless he's going in a superstar trade in the offseason, because he can't be traded this season. I'm not trading Bridges for any and definitely not for Zion. And I do think the Knicks medical staff is good, but listen, I don't know if they're Houdini status. You know what I mean? Like, so
you need some dark voodoo magic, like Princess and the Frog style, to keep that guy.
A Ouija board, and like just let for Iron Man to a straw man. That's not something I would be interested in. Trav, shout out to Trav, man. Trav be Ryan Music. Jordan Clarkson plays well in the playoffs too. Yes, I think Geoff mentioned that a few shows ago. Yep. You're right. Jonathan Cat are a better fit. They complement each other. Yep. Giannis has too many demands also. Mike Edmonds. I don't know if he has that relationship with Milwaukee because he's been there for 13 seasons now to make demands. I don't know if that would be the case here with the Knicks. D Grant, if Knicks go after Giannis, you better believe Towns is in the deal. I like them together. Like now we talking. Like I'm a big fit person. I know years ago I had this this discussion with Tony Crow. Shout out to him. And I think it was around a superstar, and he was like,
Donovan Mitchell, probably.
I might have been Donovan Mitchell. And he was talking about, this was before Brunson got here though. And he was talking about fit. And I was like, look, we don't have any players on this roster where we should be talking about fit. If this player comes, he's going to be the best player on the roster, and the Knicks are going to have to rejigger the roster. But to me, this is different in the sense that we have one of the better players in the league. And so for me, I do think fit matters a little bit more than when you're Charlotte and you're worrying about what's this player going to fit with Miles. What's his name? One of the players, Miles Bridges. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, that's kind of the thing though, right? When you're in that situation where you don't have any of those players, you usually can't get them, right? It's only the teams that are already in contention that those are the teams that those players want to go to, right? So it's kind of like, well, which is it? You have to be in position to attract those kinds of players. I mean, Kyrie and Kevin Durant didn't want anything to do with the Knicks because we were a laughing stock. We were a joke. Now Kevin Durant, was begging to come to the Knicks at one point this offseason. So, a lot changes when you win ball games and you have a superstar point guard.
Yeah. Supreme System Lord. I hope I got that right. We good right now. Just need more time together as a team. Bring up Dink. How do you pronounce that, Jack?
Dink Pate, I think is what it is.
Dink Pate, or Pate, whatever. Young
He has
cat.
been Pate in the G League. He had like a 30-point, 11 rebounds, 17 assists, triple-double or something like that.
I know that's Lee Escobedo's guy. Young cat, fresh trade Pacome. I don't know if there's anybody in the G League I would be looking to. I mean, if I would like to see Jemison, if we're talking spot minutes. I know there's some that would like to see McCullough, who had at least one good game recently. JJ, it's Giannis. You get him if you can and figure it out. Yeah. Okay. OG did play in the finals against the Warriors. Did he? I thought he was hurt. How about Hukporti's free throws last night? 4-4. Yep.
See, this is what Mitch has reduced us to. His 15% at the line has us going crazy when somebody hits all 4 of their free throws.
Yeah.
But good on Huck.
Huck was good.
Yeah,
he was good. All right. Duckosaurus Rex. Knicks need to grow their depth on the margins, and role players from within cannot afford real meaningful team depth by trading for scrap heat veterans every time. Yabu, Phelan, Clarkson, and Houston. But the Knicks have that already, right? Like Hukporti came in and gave us good minutes. Kolek has come in and has given us good minutes. If you want to win in the playoffs, you need veterans. Just point blank, period. Like, let's not get carried away by what we're seeing in the regular season. You guys saw the playoffs. Things slow down. They have enough time to pick at your weaknesses. You got to give young players an opportunity to grow. And I think putting them in intense playoff moments and saying, I need you to produce, that's a lot. Let them rock, let them grow on their own terms. You need veterans if you're going to win a chip. That's just period. Just period. And that's not to say they can't come in and give you good minutes, but it is to say you feel comfortable with a rookie or second-year player in a key position in the playoffs. Nah, come on. We're trying to win this chip. No.
You want as few question marks as possible.
As few questions
over the unknown. We want the guys we want guys who what to expect, because that's when you're going to get the production that you need. You can't afford to be high up here 1 minute and down here the next in the playoffs, because 3 bad minutes can be the difference between you advancing in a series and going home. And we've seen that firsthand.
Right. David Smith, you're not doing yourself favors about the delusions. Deuce can replace Brunson. Some people in the chat was like, he's delusional. Be like, yo, give my guy a break. And then you come up with something like Deuce can replace Brunson. Like, come on, let's be real. All right. Latoria B, appreciate you. Sis is up, man. She was up last night. I was listening to you, Coach, Dre, and Freezy last night, like 1 a.m, up, ready for lunchtime live.
1 a.m, y'all dedicated.
This current team is starting to turn the corner. We don't even know how good this team can be, and here we are talking about dismantling. Knick fans are horrible. I wouldn't say Knick fans are horrible. I would say that you're trying to get better, and it's okay to extrapolate. Like, it's okay to be like, I've seen OKC. We haven't played them, but I watch the Knicks team every night, and I'm watching OKC, and I could see where they can present problems for the Knicks. And you may be able to see where the Knicks can create problems for them also. But I think as fans, it's okay to extrapolate. Like, it's okay to, I don't know if this defense is going to be good enough for the playoffs, because we've watched the playoffs, not just this team in the playoffs. We've watched other teams in the playoffs year after year after year. You know how it goes. So I think it's okay to extrapolate and be like, I'm not so sure. All right. We need as many rebounds as possible. Brunson, Cat, and Giannis would be an ideal fit. I like that as well. All right. Okay. Let's hold pat. We've already traded draft picks for years. Okay. Bridges plays every day. Yes, he does. Uh,
And well at that.
and well. Yep. Latoria giving her condolences to AD.
For sure. Prayers with you, my guy.
Yeah, definitely. Clarkson shooting 20% from three, so he better get it together soon. Well, I think, you know what? Play to your strengths.
Yeah.
If that's not your strength, get in the lane. You
That's
know?
where I'm at with Clarkson. Like, he's never going to be a lockdown, knockdown 3-point shooter. That's not who he is. Like, if that's who we're expecting him to be, we're always going to be disappointed with Jordan. Like, we need Jordan to be the best Jordan he can be, and that's the guy who gets in the paint and gets to the free throw line and initiates the spray and pray for us, you know, all of those sorts of things. And Clarkson's capable of doing that. Like, but funny part about it is he missed all of his shots last night and somehow was +9, which cracks me up against Orlando. I don't know how that, like, and he didn't really have any other ancillary stats, as Ron would say. So I don't really know how you get to be +9. He was just on the court with the right guys, I guess. Because he was 0 for 5.
It goes the other way as well, Jeff. Some guys are, you know, negative because they're just on the court with the, you know, with bad guys. Yes, Chop Low. I had a feeling that might have been you. Shout out to Keith Chink Photography. Yeah, he's not a big fan of Cat, wants him to go. Star chasing is not the way for the Knicks. We got to learn the right way to build up our own internal depth and create a factory. Listen, we're here now. We're here now. This is not like 4 years ago when you were like, all right, we got to build the right. We are actually here. And we got to maximize the window now. Now, do I agree that the Knicks should have some young players in their pipeline for when this window closes? Yeah. You know, and maybe they do. Maybe that's Hukporti. Maybe that's Diawara. Maybe that's, you know, Daddier. Maybe that's Kolek, you know, down the line when the window closes. They're, you know, these are the guys that they're, you know, bringing in for them. But can you blame a team? Can you blame a front office for trying to take advantage of their NBA window and wanting to lock it down with veteran players? Can you blame them for that? So the reason you're bringing up young players is so that they can become stars and you can win a championship, right? Well, if you're already here to win a championship, what are you saying? Pause the process so we can bring these guys along so 5 years from now we'll be in better position to win a championship? Nah, we are here right now. Take advantage of the opportunity. You know, have guys in the pipeline in the G League or whatever for when this window's closed. I'm with you on that. But I'm not with bringing guys up trying to create a factory when we're here. Come on.
And the other thing is, what we want from our front office, or what we should want, is that they're exploring every possibility to make this the absolute best team it can be, right? At whatever they think that is. You know, you either trust this front office to do its job or you don't. But I think that they've earned the benefit of the doubt thus far, taking a team that was, you know, a joke and turning them into a perennial playoff team, perennial second round team, in fact. And so, you know, look, they're going to explore every option. They're going to kick the tires on every deal. And that's what they're paid to do. And that's what you should always be doing. You should never think that we have enough. You should always be looking, well, how can we get better? It's just, you know, it's the same thing every day with practice. You're always looking to get one step better than you were the day before. Front office has the same job. How do we increase the talent in the building? Right? How do we
chances?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And if that's Giannis, that's Giannis. And if it's not, then that's fine too. I've said this before. I think that we can win a championship with Giannis, but even if we don't get him, I think we can win it. And so, you know, I'm comfortable with where we're at either way. I think this is a really good basketball team, and I'm having fun with them. I don't know about you guys, but this is a really fun start to the season, and I think they're doing a good job so far. Like quarter pole, we're right where I expected and wanted to be. I think the injuries are starting to stack up and pile up a little bit, but that's the regular season too, right? That no team goes without, goes healthy all 82 games. So we've shown that we've had guys we can plug and play so far, and that's a really big thing. I mean, Landry Shamet hasn't played in a while either, and he's going to be out for still longer. And so, he was a really good piece for us. OG's missed a bunch of time, so we've had we've had our share of challenges, and we just keep rolling. And hopefully the Towns injury isn't super serious, where he can be back in a couple of games.
I forgot about that. Right. What's good, Knick family? Salute to the chat. Salute to Geoff and Steph. Lunchtime feels so much better now. Let's go Knicks. Shout out to Ron from Still Knick fans.
I'm surprised he's still not on his Saturday show.
Right.
Right. That's my guy. Ron is brilliant. If y'all haven't checked out Ron's show, he can hold it down by himself like a superstar. And he really is an incredible talent. He's like a radio, like just a radio show. Like if you just have to take a long drive, you can just put Ron Still Knicks fan on, and he'll carry you the whole trip. You don't even need a playlist.
What's the caliber of player of OKC's young players and the caliber of players of the Knicks players? That's not the same.
SGA is one of one also. I think that has something to do with it as well. Alexander is so good that it makes it changes the equation in a lot of ways. But the impressive thing about them is they're doing that. Jalen Williams has played like 2 games this year, like the good Jalen Williams. I know they have like 7 of them, but the good Jalen Williams has hardly played this year, and they still have only lost 1 game. That team's a problem down there, and well, it's up for me, but down for most of y'all.
Any update on
team is dangerous.
Any update on Deuce McBride? I haven't heard anything. I'll check when I
the Knicks medical staff, though, they're not real forthcoming when it comes to updates. We probably won't know until they have to give the report, as availability report on. I don't know, when does that come? Does it come out 24 hours before, or I don't even know, but
sure. Size 9, the bar is game 6, ECF, no matter what we do. Knick fans didn't want to trade RJ and quickly, and right. And so didn't want to trade RJ and quickly. So it's like, oh, the Knicks are giving players away and they're turning into, star players on the other team. But who did we get in return? We got OG, who's a star himself and fits much better with this team, in my opinion, than RJ and quickly. So you can't just think about what the Knicks gave away and, they're doing better on other teams. Who did the Knicks get back for those players?
And that's one of the things that's the trading, right? Everybody, you're going to have to give up something to get something. Like, you're not going to get Giannis for, Hukporti and McCullough, and you know what I mean? It's like, you're talking about an MVP, but anybody, if you're going to get quality players, typically, unless you're the Celtics, you have to give up quality players. Like, it's very rare that you can just fleece a team, and it's always about, quote unquote, winning the trade. Well, the best trades are the ones where both sides win. And I think that happened with the OG Anunoby trade. I think we got what we needed, and they got Barrett and Quickly, who are both very good players as well. Right. And so
go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Timelines matter. Timelines matter. Like, when you trade these guys, you're not trading them because you don't believe in them. Sometimes you're trading them because you're trying to accelerate your timeline. Right? And getting RJ, when we traded RJ and Quickly for where they were and their development as a player, and OG, in terms of where he was and his development as a player, was a much better fit for Brunson than waiting for RJ Barrett and waiting for quickly to develop. So when guys make trades, teams make, it's not like, oh, I don't believe in them, let's throw them away. I don't believe. Timeline. Sometimes it's contract. There's a lot of different reasons. The Knicks got OG Anunoby for RJ Barrett and quickly, and some of you may feel like that wasn't enough. OG Anunoby is over here balling on both sides of the ball for us. I don't know. We gave up Randall and Devo to bring in Cat. To me, the Knicks have a higher ceiling now than they had with those players, in my opinion. And I know some Knicks fans may disagree, and it's a team that fits better together than when we had Robinson, Randall, and RJ Barrett, Brick Nation. You know what I mean? Yeah, to me, it's just a better fit, and in my opinion, a better ceiling. Now, if there's some players I would love to get back on the team, number one for me would be Hartenstein, but we just couldn't. There was just no way for us to hold on to him. But if Hartenstein was on this team with Cat, oh my goodness, it's just not to be.
And frankly, if we could have afforded to keep iHeart, we would have, right? That was a salary cap. This wasn't a case where the Knicks didn't want Hartenstein. It just, those salary cap situation worked against us, that we couldn't pay him as much as OKC. And, the guy went for more money and won the championship. It's hard to really, fault that. But it wasn't a case where the Knicks didn't want to keep him or didn't do whatever they could to keep him. They offered him as much money as they could. It just wasn't enough. And that happens sometimes.
Yep. I don't know. Neymar Sekhan. I think I butchered that. I'm not sure if this is your first time. Welcome. If not, welcome back. All of this we talking about, the pros and the cons and the fit and the this. Please go get Giannis to the Knicks. Let's just keep it simple. Please go get Giannis to the Knicks. All right. Shout out to Nick Yak in the house. Nick Yak in the house. Appreciate you. It's not about star chasing. It's about what will make the team better. OKC win games with their defense and timely shooting. Giants make Giannis. Giannis makes Knicks defense better. Period. Okay. We won by 6 is because we pulled the starters. Okay. All right. Wow, the chat is hot. I'm like, I can't even get to the bottom of it.
It's hopping.
It's hot. Nick Yak, Hartenstein might be a free agent next year. OKC drafted a lottery pick center to replace him. Team option. They have trouble affording. The Knicks wouldn't have any money to bring him back if he's a free agent. Could they trade for him? I'm not sure who we would give up. Giving up key rotation players for Giannis is one thing. Giving up key rotation players for Hartenstein is something totally different.
And remember, when the Knicks had that opportunity, AD, Hartenstein wasn't the player that he ended up being. Like, he kind of blew up, when Mitch got hurt. We didn't even know if he was going to be anything more than a 10 or 15 minute a game guy at the center, much less a guy worthy of being a starter the way that he was. I mean, he really blew up that season, and in hindsight, yes, but at the time when we could have done that contract, I don't think anybody would have locked him in the way that we would have needed to.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, AD. That was the choice the Knicks made, and they continue to make that, to stay flexible. So they do make tough choices, when it comes to signing players, extending players, over keeping flexibility. They do tend to favor flexibility. And sometimes when you do that, you do lose out, but let's not lose sight of the fact that it has worked out for the Knicks multiple times, keeping the flexibility. We don't need wait. We don't need them with our 2 backup centers. Nah, stop. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. I'm not going to go off with one game where these guys play really well and say we don't need Giannis. These 2 guys can hold it down for a championship run. I'm not ready to say that, Nick Yak, but I do hear you. They played well last night. I'm not willing to say that at all. My guy Jerrell, Steph, and Geoff is the best. Yes, my lunch is over and I'm not getting any work done.
Well, we don't want to get you fired, Jerrell.
For sure. Any last words, Geoff?
Just thanks. This is a lot of fun. We're gonna have another one. You're on tonight, right?
I am on tonight. Anybody who wants to join from the panel, we'll drop the link. Anybody else who want to join, we're doing Stats and Storylines, which is our weekly pregame show, and we're gonna go over Toronto, Miami, and Orlando. The Knicks will, if the Knicks might not. If they lose, it's a wash. But if they win, what do the losers play each other as well?
The losers play each other too. So we could play Orlando either way. Because if the
either
Knicks
way, that's what you were.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying before. Whatever the Knicks do, if the Magic do the same thing, we play them. If they do opposite things, we play them.
God, it was too complicated a point, Geoff. Come on.
But we wouldn't do that in Vegas. That's the difference. If we win, we go to Las Vegas for the semifinals. I think if we lose, it's just a road game, maybe a home game. I don't know.
I got you. So we're gonna go over all 3 teams tonight. What are the storylines, related to those teams since we last met them? We'll talk about where they are in the Eastern Conference. We'll talk about them offensively, defensively, what the Knicks need to do to take advantage of the matchup, and what the Knicks need to shore up to make sure they're not taken advantage of. So it'll be me and Ajay, Geoff, Jerrell, Delusional, anybody out there who wants to join us. The panel is open. You can definitely join us. That's tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. This was a poppin' lunchtime live.
Best one yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was the best one yet. AD said he's going to try to come on tonight. I would love that. Anybody wants to pop on? What about the name change? Yes, I was going to roll that. I was going to roll that out Thursday, but yeah, I mean, I could talk about it, briefly. I rejiggered the banner. So you guys, if you get a chance to go to our YouTube page, I rejiggered the banner a little bit. So I was thinking about a name that would incorporate the fact that this channel took off not just because of me. This took off with Jerrell, who was with me from the beginning. I even forgot now who was second. I mean, obviously Staffer, may he, rest in peace, was there from the beginning, helped me get the channel off the ground. Tsunami, hopefully things are well with her, helped me get the channel off the ground. And I don't know if it was Geoff or Ajay, whoever came first after that, but that collective, like us collectively, helped this channel grow. And this channel is going to continue to grow because we're going to have more content. We're going to have more fan involvement. So I wanted to change it all together, but Geoff was like, I kind of like Dope Soul Sports. So I don't know about changing it all together. So what I did was just added collective onto the end. So, Dope Soul Sports Collective, that's the channel's name right now. And just to give homage to not just the panel, but the chat, and then also the guests that come on the show. Delusional is family. I don't even consider Delusional.
Yeah, he's not even a guest. He just can't.
Delusional is part of the core collective. But Boogie comes on. AD comes on. Lee Escobedo from Nick of Time, graces us with his presence. Ron God from Nick's Man Cave. I don't know if I got his name right, but he comes on. So it's just a collective, So we're going to open up memberships for those who want to join the Dope Soul Circle. I don't know. I'm playing with the name for the membership. We'll open up the memberships. We're going to have, more polls, more fan engagement. And I think that's what we saw today, right? Just trying to create a channel where every voice is heard. Even if I disagree with you, it's okay, because there's probably somebody else who's thinking the same, who's thinking the same thing. So wanting to have one of the most fan-centric channels in the Knick universe. And it's a process. It's going to be a process. Geoff, my guy, came up with a great idea. So I'll roll this out again Thursday, but because, Jerrell said it, Geoff came out with a great idea to have a segment on the Thursday show where those in the chat and even content creators can come on and for like 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, just talk about your Knick fandom, talk about what's on your mind as pertaining to the Knicks right now. If you have any questions for the panel. And I was able to talk to Lord Scientist, and he'll be our first one. I don't know if it's this Thursday or next Thursday, but he'll be the first one to come on and talk about his Knick fandom. Anybody else who's interested in that, just, let us know in the chat. We'll write it down. You can also DM me, email me. So you'll have an opportunity to pop on. I got high-speed internet, y'all, down in Georgia. So now I can take phone calls on Thursdays. So it's gonna be, to use Geoff word, an experience, a dope soul sports experience. Now, that's the vision. It's going to take some time to, really fill it out. We're also going to do giveaways. Once I open up the membership, we'll do giveaways. Few members, little giveaways. As the membership gets better, there'll be bigger monthly giveaways. But I appreciate you guys. You guys, most of you have been rocking with us from the beginning. We'll celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and, and just be family. So I just want to say, for the super chats that we got for November, I've already sent up 50% of that. And this channel doesn't generate a lot of revenue. But what we did generate, I sent 50% of that on behalf of the entire channel, the panel, the chat, everybody, to Lord Scientist, who's going through a tough time right now. So I made that donation on our behalf to him, and that's just part of, being, being community.
We love you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. We love you.
We'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see you Thursday. Yeah. Where in Georgia we should hit a game? Listen, I'm in middle Georgia, central Georgia. But Atlanta's about an hour and a half away from me, but I go there once a month. That's where I gotta go if I want to go to Whole Foods. I gotta drive all the way up to Decatur, right? So we can definitely do that. Oh, again, I'll make this announcement Thursday. We're celebrating DJ Shuttle's birthday, January 7th. It's on a Wednesday. Oh my God. What's the crab spot? AD, if you still with us, what's the seafood crab spot in Valley Stream? Ben's Crab and Valley Stream. We're going to have a watch party. He's going to be DJing there. It's also his birthday, and it's going to be a Knick watch party. So if anybody who's in the Brooklyn, Long Island area, even if you want to join from drive down, whatever, January 7th, it is a Wednesday. But it's DJ Shuttle's birthday. And so I'll be there. We're going to celebrate. I'll have me a seafood bowl with the spicy lemon pepper sauce. You know how I do.
A salute to two Knicks chicks in the house, by the way. Talk about family who just was part of the show. Been a minute though.
Facts.
Starting to think she doesn't like us anymore.
She was
Diva Locks was with us the other day. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the lady and the chef is. She's been busy. I know. I'm just giving her a hard time.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So tonight, 7:30. Stats and Storylines, the weekly preview show. I think we only did one other episode. We'll figure it out, particularly if the Knicks play on Monday. When will the party be? It's Wednesday, January 7th. He may already have a flyer. If he does, I'll I will post it, but if he doesn't, I will create one. So it's Wednesday, January 7th at Ben's Crab in Valley Stream. Yeah. So hopefully I'll get a chance to, Ben's Crab. Yeah. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see some of you there. Anyway, until next time, until next time. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Until next time.
Until next time.
Every time with that.
Okay. Peace, family. Peace.
Sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
What?
Don't so.
What?
You're so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Great show. We always